Morning. Welcome to another episode of Focus Daily TV. For those just arriving, here on Focus Daily TV, we speak about biblical prophecy and how it applies to God's children, the Afro-Americans specifically, and the history of America and how the two intertwine and form the existence that we find ourselves in today as a people. Today, as a people, we find ourselves as bond men and bond women, contraband that has been manipulated, trapped, and is in desperate need to be set free. Hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel, hashtag Focus Daily TV. It's this truth that I'm presenting that shall play an important role in setting said Afro-Americans free. Today we'll continue watching a short film that we began yesterday about the formation of the current federal economic system, whether it's currency, trade, this or that, whatnot. Let's get into it. Put your discernment caps on. Let's go.
The panic was set in motion by a sharp decline in the stock market. In early 1907, the stock market...
So we'll begin with the intentional set panic that was used in order to influence people into accepting this new form of Federal Reserve maritime currency government. It was a trap. It was all sabotage from the beginning. In the Bible, it is written that gold and silver is mine, said the Lord. God intended us, the Father, the God of the Bible, intended us to use gold and silver as a form of exchange. However, J.P. Morgan and his associates had other nefarious things in mind.
Market experienced a downturn due to concerns about the overall health of the economy and the financial stability of certain companies. F. Augustus Hines and Charles W. Morse, two financiers, attempted to corner the market on the stock of United Copper Company. They used fraudulent and speculative practices to artificially inflate the price of the stock. When their efforts failed...
Once again, there you go. Fraudulent practices led to the introduction of this fiat form of currency, which created a situation where we became bond men and bond women, as Deuteronomy speaks of. And also in Revelations, it speaks of the souls of men being traded on the market. This is it.
The stock's value plummeted, causing panic and losses for investors. The collapse of United Copper Company's stock triggered a wave of panic and uncertainty in the financial markets. Fearing that their investments were at risk, depositors rushed to withdraw their money from banks, leading to bank runs. These runs resulted in liquidity shortages and put additional strain on the banking system. The bank runs and liquidity shortages spread across the financial sector, affecting various banks and financial institutions. As banks struggled to meet the demand for withdrawals, a crisis of confidence emerged, further exacerbating the panic. In October of 1907, J.P. Morgan published rumors of instability with the Knickerbocker Trust. Following these announcements, the run on Knickerbocker intensified.
So once again, as we pointed out yesterday, J.P. Morgan intentionally sabotaged the situation through the use of the Ashkenazi Jew-owned media. They own the media, they own the school system, and apparently they play a big role in the banking system and help bring in this fiat world order and placed everybody in the world of sin.
The next day, after depositors had withdrawn nearly $8 million, it suspended operations. Later that month, Morgan organized a plan to infuse funds into the Knickerbocker Trust in an effort to prevent a wider banking panic. While the trust still failed, Morgan's intervention helped contain the crisis temporarily. He was equally to blame as the orchestrator.
So what J.P. Morgan was actually doing was attempting to take over the previous financial system and bring in the current system, once again, this fiat system, which is based upon the souls of men and plays a role in this registration and classification that they are bringing forth in 1933, Social Security Acts, birth certificates, and things of that nature.
Of the panic as well as its stability. With calculated precision, he rallied a consortium of bankers, acting as a financial bulwark against imminent collapse. Morgan effectively acted as
a collapse that they created
as a lender of last resort by providing financial assistance to distressed banks. His interventions aimed to restore confidence in the financial system and prevent further bank runs.
I mean, you heard it. He just said it. Intentionally published information to sabotage the economy. Let's keep up, pay attention. All you have to do is just listen, and the truth will reveal itself. I'm just here to plant a seed of truth within you in order so that you may have eyes to see and ears to hear.
Joining the fray was Paul Warburg, a visionary advocate of banking reform. He championed the creation of a central bank, modeled after European counterparts, to shield against future upheavals. As the panic unfolded,
Babylonian system, kings of Babylon, this one and that one.
Warburg worked closely with Senator Nelson Aldrich to develop a plan to address the crisis. This collaboration led to the Aldrich-Vreeland Act of 1908, which allowed for the issuance of emergency currency by national banks to address financial emergencies. While the act did not create a
so here we go. Pay attention.
Central bank, it provided a temporary mechanism to address liquidity issues during crises. All roads, of course, lead to the clandestine meeting on Jekyll Island in 1910, as history took an intriguing turn.
So truth be told, this is really all based upon witchcraft, wizardry, sorcery. And Jekyll Island was the spot where they casted the spell that has encapsulated the whole world. But here on Focus Daily TV show, we're specifically speaking about the Afro-Americans, the children of God, because it is time for us as a people to return back to his word, his commandment, the Bible. Especially us men, we got to become familiar with the law. God gave the law to us. And that's what we're doing here on Focus Daily TV. Hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel, hashtag Focus Daily TV. Hang on just a few, and I'll let you go.
A symphony of influential minds convened, including Senator Nelson Aldrich, A. Piatt Andrew, Henry P. Davison, Benjamin Strong Jr., Frank A. Vanderlip, and Paul Warburg. Together, they wove the tapestry.
This is judgment for those guys. Stay tuned.
Of banking reform and the inception of a central banking system, an embryo that would birth the Federal Reserve. A cast of proponents and opponents danced on this stage. Visionaries like Paul Warburg championed the Federal Reserve, envisioning it as a guardian of financial stability and a haven in times of turmoil. Yet,
all sorcery that they conjured up on Jekyll Island, the real beast, was created there.
Opponents harbored concerns, fearing the concentration of power and potential government intrusion into monetary affairs. Amid the intrigue, one question echoes: did the Rothschild family have a role in this intricate symphony? While whispers of their direct involvement linger, their indirect involvement through their agents has been well documented. Therein, the Federal Reserve System was a culmination of American endeavors supported by European interests to create a central banking system in the United States once and for all.
Babylonian interests.
In the grand scheme, the panics of 1893 and 1907 ignited a beacon of reform, illuminating the path towards the creation of the Federal Reserve System in 1913.
Boom.
Designed as a
No need to go further. Here on Focus Daily TV, we keep it short and sweet and to the point. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel, #Focus Daily TV. We out.